Back to hardball. The 2012 presidential race will likely come down to just a handful of battleground states. Perhaps the three most important of them are, it's always dangerous to say which three, but let's try Ohio, Virginia, and Florida. And today we're learning more about where things stand there, thanks to the latest NBC News Marist poll. President Obama leads Mitt Romney in all three of those states, so the race is certainly tightening. And take a look. It's very much near the margin of error. In Florida, Obama's up by 4. 48-44. Catch this. Virginia, same exact numbers, 48-44. In Ohio, almost the same, a 6-point spread, 48-42. So what do these numbers tell us about where this race is nationally, as well as in the Electoral College? Chuck Todd's the NBC News political director and chief White House correspondent, and Major Garrett's White House correspondent for the National Journal, two of the best. Chuck, you know, when you look at these state numbers in these key states of Florida, Virginia, and Ohio, what do they tell you about the shape of the race, both in terms of the Electoral College, where these matter,
right, and
the popular?
Well, I think the number one is you first look at, when an incumbent's running for re-election, you look at their number first. Their number, this far out, matters more than the challenger number.
Do you need to be 50 to get reelected?
No, but you need to be right. Basically, he is at a re-electable number right now at 48.
What was Bush?
But it worked, but just
Bush
barely.
Was 47?
Bush was sitting at 47, 48 right now.
That was 47 nationally.
Yeah, and that's where Obama is. He's got a 48% job approval rating overall, nationally. 47 in the battleground, in the matchup nationally. And where's he here? 48, 48, 48. Even in the likely voter modeling that we had in there, Romney moves up a little bit. The Obama number sticks.
So is he walking along
48.
the edge of a cliff right now, the president? Could he slip? Could he slip down into the 44s rather than 48? Is he that close to trouble, or is he
we
solid?
haven't seen that sign yet. The president has at the national level and at the state level, and the state numbers are really just starting to take on some relevance. The state numbers before...
I think they're just starting to gel. It's still wet cement, but you're still, I think, seeing this.
So, but the national numbers have not been 44, 42, 43 for the president in a long... Not since the dog days of August.
He stays in high 40s.
He's static there. But here's the thing to think about with Florida, Ohio, and Virginia. Republicans and the Republican brand vastly underperformed in all three of those states by 4 percentage points in Ohio, 4.3 in Virginia, and 3.2 in Florida. If Republicans do better than half, get half of that back, okay, in their turnout modeling, then Romney is in all three of those states very, very competitively. But they have to gain back at least half of the vote they gave up from 2004 to 2008. And if they don't, the president's in good shape.
Let's talk about the states that are way out there, way out in the West, which are interesting. Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada. Can the president count on them?
Yes. I think he can count on two of those three. I mean, I think assuming stuff doesn't step back, I think Colorado, he's the favorite. I think New Mexico, pretty much off the battleground.
Because of Hispanic voters.
Hispanic voters. Nevada's the one. Nevada is a coin flip right now. I think.
Does the LDS religion help Romney?
I think it helps him a little bit. I think what's a bigger factor is that Nevada, look at Nevada, North Carolina, and Florida. I actually grouped them together because all three, Nevada and North Carolina, have unemployment rates higher than the national average, and they have bad foreclosure.
Well, let's hang on that map right there. Let's look at that map right there. Guys, what are your observations when you see the yellow where we have these key, we're calling them swing states? Look at them there. And Iowa, I hear, even though the unemployment rate there is way down to 5%, I hear he's got problems with evangelicals over this same-sex marriage thing.
Well, and the Iowa numbers have improved, though, for the president. Remember, they were bad right after the caucuses because why? There was a concentrated 2.5 month period of negative Obama conversation.
Yeah, that's probably a longer
A concentrated 2.5 months. So Iowa is beginning to restabilize for the president, but it's still problematic. But the president's strong position, I agree with Chuck, in Colorado and New Mexico is a bulwark against an X factor like North Carolina or Virginia.
Would they have the convention in North Carolina now if they had to do it all over again?
I think he would probably pick Richmond if he could. I think Virginia, when you look at it, no. Actually, I don't. I disagree. I mean, the whole point, the way David Plouffe thinks about this, is he saw the way it worked in Denver. The convention is an organizing tool,
right? Not
for that week that the convention is, for the 5 months leading up to
it. And for the places all around there, which is Florida, Virginia,
I actually think Charlotte
nearby.
would still, in an honest, it would still be in play. You know, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Cleveland, those are all good if you wanted to worry about labor and making them happy. Charlotte was an organizing pick.
What do you make of the latest advertising push by Karl Rove? You don't have to like him to know he's smart. Working on it slightly better than not upper income, but slightly upper middle class, just a bit above average. That woman in the new ad
Right.
looks well, very well spoken, 3 kids. The phone is not a poor person's house.
No.
It's clearly an upper middle class or a middle class home. And she doesn't have a husband around. It's a white woman. And she has the kids with failure to launch coming back home. What about that ad? Is that a smart ad for $10 million he's spending?
I think there are 2 predicates that he's trying to lay down there that either he is going to reinforce or he believes the Romney campaign is going to reinforce. I was an Obama supporter. I liked what I heard. I'm disappointed with the results. That is a theme throughout that. And the idea of children living at home and my retirement less certain for me than it was. These play on fears up and down the life cycle.
I had a Romney person say to me, wow, they obviously have the same focus groups we have.
Yes.
I mean, when they saw that, they said,
right.
Those are the same focus group. That's
so this narrows the gender gap. It works on the women. They can win. They can win back. They're not going to get African-American women or Latina, but they'll get the white woman maybe.
Suburban America. Okay. When you look at Northern Virginia, suburbs
around Philly.
I mean, we know where the
suburbs are. Let's take a look at this. According
Virginia.
to the NBC Marist poll, again, one of Romney's most significant problems is with women. The president has double-digit leads among women in all 3 states, by the way, we took a look at. The president up by 10 among women in Florida and Virginia, and 12 up in Ohio. So that is the challenge they're trying to break.
It is. And, one more thing, though, about I want to take these states as a whole. The scary thing, if you're Mitt Romney, about these, look, I put these 3 here because Florida was the be-all, end-all in 2000, Ohio in 2004, Virginia was the one that.
By the way, how did Tim Russert always know that? How did Tim always know that? Because he used to say Florida, Florida, Florida. We got the picture out there.
Ohio.
Then he said Ohio. What's it this year?
Look, I think it's Virginia.
Yeah,
I think it is Virginia because
you
there
agree?
is no.
Yeah, sure.
The president can win without Ohio and Florida. It is hard for him. There's a way for him to get there without.
That's what I want us to get and spend time in Virginia. Let me ask you one question. It is the nut cutter, if you will, the tough one, the really tough one. Why is Obama unable to really get above 48 in job performance? And is that a problem for him?
Well, look, the economic news, though better, is still mediocre at best. And the president owns the economy. He can't.
He rides on that wave.
And look,
okay.
What did the president say his campaign was going to be about? Forward. What has been his hardest, most aggressive attack about Romney? Backward. Okay? The president still hasn't filled in, I don't believe, and I think the polling data reflects this, what his second term is going to be about, what has been accomplished so far that has demonstrably changed people's lives for the better. It's not as bad as it could have been, true. But what is the payoff for them supporting him now and for the future?
Did he say things are getting better?
And look at the embedded number in your poll, NBC Wall Street Journal poll.
Chuck, did he say that? Are things getting better?
Fearful about the future for kids.
When you look at the numbers and the housing numbers that are coming in, I mean, I have to say, I think the most important, if you're in Chicago, the single most important thing that has happened, numbers that has come out in the last 10 days have been housing. No, I think
3% increase in housing.
That's right. The idea, that is why people feel like, yes, there's some new jobs, yes, there's this. I think the reason why the economic anxiety has stuck for so long is people thought their greatest investment, their house.
So now there's an increasing real demand for housing, and that's why we're having
that is real. If that sticks.
I agree completely. Most people have one big asset when they're 60-some years old is the house.
Right.
And then they sell it and move into a condo, but then they have a lot of cash to retire on. They need that kitty.
Right.
And without that kitty, they are
anxiety
fearful.
is real. Absolutely.
It's not subjective anyway. So is the president going to win this election?
48 is at coin flip territory.
You guys are the best. Okay. Thank you so much. Nobody else knows more than you guys, right?
Anyway,
thank you.
Other than
nobody knows more than Chuck. I'll say that.
They're just pals. Anyway, thank you, Chuck Todd. Thank you, Major Garrett. Have a nice Memorial weekend. As I always say, let's remember what it's about.